Welcome to the DCTV News at Noon program. I'm Kelsey Kiesling.
And I'm Jerry Tope. The Southwest TV Translator Association underwrites the news, and Dolores County Broadcasting Network provides the support for DCTV.
The News at Noon program assembles the best and most interesting news from the area and provides the local weather for the Four Corners region. Give us a call with news tips or topics you'd like to see covered. The number is 677-4119.
Today's news is live here Monday at noon, rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8, and rerun on Thursday at noon, 2:30 and 8. Today's December the 12th, 2016, and now here's the news. According to the Cortez Journal, the investigation into a group of Fort Lewis College students who vandalized ancient Native American sites in Utah was all but closed after one student came forward and took responsibility, resulting in a $250 fine. And a Bureau of Land Management spokeswoman said this Wednesday. The BLM spokeswoman for the Monticello office is Kimberly Finch. She told the Durango Herald that the agency mailed a citation to one individual on Monday, but she declined to identify that person. Finch said as far as the BLM is concerned, the case is closed. However, technically the case remains open until the fine is paid. She added the agency does not plan to issue any additional citations. The official violation says no person on public lands shall willfully deface, disturb, remove, destroy any scientific, cultural, archaeological, or historical resource or natural object area. Under the Archaeological Resource Protection Act, first-time violators can face a maximum fine of up to $250,000 or a 5-year prison term or both. Fort Lewis College officials decided not to punish the students, the college's spokesman Mitch Davis said last week. According to Davis, about 10 students participating in the Fort Lewis College Outdoor Pursuits program defaced a culturally significant site on Comb Ridge near Bluff, Utah, while on an overnight trip October the 14th to the 16th. The students wrote in black charcoal, Fort Lewis College, OP 2016, and were easily identified when photographs of the graffiti were widely spread last week on social media. Instead of punishment, the college has reached out to the BLM to have the students fix their damage as well as other graffiti at the site, Davis said.
Reported by the Durango Herald, a Farmington woman was robbed at knife point Tuesday outside a marijuana dispensary in downtown Durango. Police are searching for two men who brandished the knife and took the woman's purse about 6:45 p.m. in the alley that provides access to Santa Alternative Wellness, 742 and a half Main Avenue. Crystal Keith, 39, was confronted by the men after she bought marijuana from the business, said Lieutenant Ray Shoup, spokesman with the Durango Police Department. The men threatened to kill her if she didn't give them her purse, which contained the recently purchased marijuana. She's obviously shaken up, but she wasn't injured at all during the altercation, Shoup said. The men fled on foot. Police on Wednesday were reviewing video surveillance of the robbers who entered the store before committing the robbery, Shoup said. Detectives are working on some leads that they've got, some stuff they've gotten off of video, he said. One robber was described as about 5 foot 5 inches tall, with a thin build, who wore dark clothing and a t-shirt with Hustle written on it. The man had a tattoo on his right cheek that was either a teardrop or a diamond. The other man was about 6 foot tall. The men faced possible charges of aggravated robbery. Anyone with information about the robbery is asked to call Detective Brian Heaton at 375-4734.
According to the Cortez Journal, a rare jaguar has been photographed in the Huachuca Mountains in southeastern Arizona from reports by the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The photo of the big cat was taken December 1st by a remote trail camera on the Fort Huachuca Army installation near Sierra Vista, southwest of Tucson. Preliminary indications are that the cat is a male jaguar and potentially one not previously seen in Arizona, said Benjamin Tuggle, Regional Director for the Southwest region of the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. We are working with the Arizona Game and Fish Department to determine if this sighting represents a new individual jaguar. The jaguar may be the third jaguar confirmed to have roamed the remote mountains and deserts of southern Arizona in recent years. Since the 1980s, there have been occasional jaguar sightings in Arizona by hunters and hikers. In 2009, a jaguar was caught in an Arizona fish and wildlife trap. The jaguar, named Macho B, was collared with a GPS tracking device and was estimated to be 15 to 16 years old. In 2011, a new male jaguar, estimated to weigh 200 pounds, was spotted roaming southern Arizona's Arizona Sky Island mountain ranges. Named El Jefe after a vote by Tucson school children, he has been photographed more than 100 times by remote trail cameras in the Santa Rita Mountains, less than 30 miles from Tucson. The latest sighting at Fort Huachuca appears to be a new jaguar, but more confirmation is needed, says the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. While this is exciting news, we're examining photographic evidence to determine if we are seeing a new cat here, or if this is an animal that has been seen in Arizona before, according to Jim DeVos, Assistant Director of the Department's Wildlife Management Division. We look forward to partnering with the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and thoroughly vetting the evidence, he said.
According to the Durango Herald, a La Plata County man pleaded guilty Friday in 6th Judicial District Court to attempted sexual assault of a child. Edmundo Quajudal Solis, 40, faces probation or up to 6 years in prison after signing a plea agreement with the District Attorney's Office. Sentencing is set for 11 a.m. February 24th. Quajudal Solis was arrested August 26th by the La Plata County Sheriff's Office after someone notified police of the allegations. Deputies and investigators with La Plata County Sheriff's Office determined there was probable cause to believe Quajudal Solis committed sexual assault on a child earlier this year, spokesman Dan Bender wrote in a news release. No further information was provided.
Also from the Cortez Journal, after asking the Cortez Historic Preservation Board last month to find her a replacement by next year, Chairwoman Linda Toll has already found one. During the monthly meeting on December 7th, board member Dale Davidson offered to take Toll's place as chairman on the condition that she stay on the board as its vice chairwoman, a position that's not currently filled. The board unanimously agreed to the proposal, and Davidson will officially begin to act as chairman on January 1st. Toll has served as chairwoman for about 8 years and has been asking to step down because the volunteer position is taking up too much of her time. Davidson, who did not attend the meeting in which Toll spoke about stepping down, said it's too soon for her to leave the board completely. She's the driving force behind many of its current projects, including the effort to make Montezuma Avenue a historical district. There's no way, shape, or form that I or anybody else can replace Linda's energy and enthusiasm, and as I heard her describe the other day, bulldogishness, Davidson said. But he acknowledged that Toll has too much on her plate right now, and giving some of her duties to someone else would free her up to focus more on the projects that are near and dear to her heart. Toll had said she was willing to stay on as chairwoman for one more year, but at the December 7th meeting, she voiced her full support for Davidson's proposal. I do want to continue on the board, she said. I just don't want to be in charge anymore. Danny Genome, the only board member who voted against Toll's re-election at the last meeting, said he was glad she'd found a solution to the overly long work hours. The rest of the board agreed.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, Cleveland Ricks was sentenced to 12 months of probation in Montezuma County Court on Wednesday after impersonating a police vehicle and leading an officer on a high-speed chase on October 2nd, according to police reports. He pleaded guilty to one count of reckless driving before County Judge Jenny Lynn Lawrence. A felony eluding charge was dismissed. Ricks was arrested after Cortez police officer Angelo Martinez noticed a white minivan with flashing red and blue lights behind him as he patrolled East Main Street near Colorado Highway 145, according to his report. The van did not show government markings and it had a Colorado license plate, the report states. The van passed Martinez and continued east on U.S. Highway 160 at 70 miles per hour, the report states. Martinez pursued the vehicle, which passed County Road 29 traveling east at 100 miles per hour. The van passed several cars on the left and right before suddenly pulling over onto the shoulder near the McElmo Flume Scenic Pullout. Martinez drew his weapon and ordered the man to get out of the vehicle, according to the report. A very tall man wearing a leather vest and blue jeans stepped out of the van and began walking toward Martinez, who ordered the man to get away from the van and onto his knees. Martinez handcuffed the man, who identified himself as Ricks, according to the report. Ricks said there were people after him who had killed his sister-in-law and he had some covert things going on, Martinez wrote in the report. Ricks was rambling, changing subjects, and not making sense. Lawrence issued the sentence on the condition that Ricks be subject to mental health evaluations and ongoing treatment. District Attorney Will First said Ricks's mental health likely contributed to his actions. Lawrence noted that Ricks had always been respectful to the court. And now here's our weather report.
Clouds will be with us all week, but temperatures will be warmer than seasonal averages until Friday. Today and tomorrow, there are chances of light showers over the higher terrain near Steamboat Springs. Here in DCTV territory, we don't expect anything. But by late tomorrow, the northern and central mountains will see some snow, some of which may reach the San Juans. Only the mountain passes are expected to see any travel issues. Wednesday has better chances for the northwest part of the state. Sometime Thursday, a stronger front will begin to arrive and offer slight chances of rain during the day, stronger chances of rain and snow during the night. But Friday and Friday night, it will cover a broad area and more rain and snow are expected and will likely go into Saturday with colder temperatures as that system moves in. How much rain and snow we'll get is still in debate, and a better handle on that will be had by Wednesday. So keep watching and we'll let you know as the week progresses. Widespread wintry weather will affect areas from the lower Great Lakes to the northeast and portions of the mid-Atlantic today and into tonight. A mix of snow, sleet, and freezing rain is possible. Heavy snow will be possible for some areas. Farther south, rain will fall from the southern mid-Atlantic region to the southeast and Tennessee Valley. The trailing end of the associated cold front will stall along the Gulf Coast and will begin moving northward again as a warm front on tomorrow. Keeping rain and a few thunderstorms as a possibility from the Gulf Coast to the southeast into Wednesday. An Arctic frontal boundary will continue to produce snow today across portions of the northern Rockies and northern Intermountain West. Snowfall will be heavy for some areas. Late Tuesday night into Wednesday, a Pacific low pressure system will begin to spread a substantial area of precipitation into portions of central and northern California. Heavy rain will be possible with heavy snow at the higher elevations in the Sierras. This stream of Pacific moisture will continue to affect the west coast into Wednesday with the potential for heavy rain and snow persisting. Lastly, a second Arctic air mass will overspread much of the northern plains and Midwest over the next couple of days. High temperatures today are forecast to be 20 to 30 degrees below average across portions of the northern plains. These cold temperatures will spread east into the Midwest for Tuesday and Wednesday. This is the winter's first polar vortex blast built into the Arctic in this last weekend, and it will take aim at the lower 48 this week. By Tuesday, temperatures below zero will plunge south into the northern plains and Midwest. Weather models suggest that temperatures in the Midwest could plummet by Thursday to minus 15 in Minneapolis, minus 10 in Milwaukee, minus 5 in Chicago. For now, we won't argue with these high temperatures or the low ones either. All over the 40s through Friday and lows from 20 to 32 until Saturday, and then colder temps into next week is the order of business. Rain and snow later in the week with clouds all week. Not much wind until later in the week as that winter storm arrives. And now back to the news.
According to the Cortez Journal, the Cortez City Council plans a workshop on marijuana regulations during a special meeting tomorrow. Earlier this year, a Cortez resident requested that the council amend the city code to allow a marijuana grow operation in the industrial park. City staff has been conducting research since June to find out what impact such a change would have on city finances, job creation, the police department, and other areas. Tuesday's work session, scheduled to begin at about 6:40 p.m., will review the research findings so far, focusing on Police Chief Roy Lane's presentation. The last work session the council held regarding the issue was on June 28th. During Tuesday's work session, they will go over the minutes from that meeting and the various topics the city agreed to research. The main focus will be on how the proposed change to city code would affect the police department's patrol duties and their ability to adequately monitor all the city's grow facilities. Right now, one officer, Boyd Neagle, is in charge of compliance for both marijuana and alcohol facilities. In June, the city also had several questions regarding inspection fees for grow facilities and whether a re-inspection fee should be added if the city code is changed. City employees from different departments have been tasked with researching each aspect of the marijuana issue.
How many scientists believe that global warming is both real and has been made worse by human causes? The answer is between 90 and 100% and depends on that scientist's area of expertise and knowledge of the subject and whether they are reputable or not. The more knowledgeable, the higher it goes. Event attribution science. The science of attributing extreme weather and climate events to whatever cause has progressed in recent years to enable the analysis of the role of human causes while the event is still in the media news. However, there's still widespread confusion about the linkages between human-induced climate change and extreme weather, not only among the public, also among some meteorologists and others in the scientific community. This is an issue of communication as well as of science. Many people have received the erroneous message that individual extreme weather events cannot be linked to human-induced climate change, whilst others attribute some weather events to climate change where there is no clear evidence of linkages. In order to advise adapting and planning and mitigation options, there's a need to communicate more effectively what the most up-to-date science says about event attribution, and to include appropriate information on the linkages when reporting extreme weather and climate events in the media. The weather seems to be getting wilder and weirder. People are noticing what are the connections to human-caused climate change, and how can we best communicate what the most recent science is telling us about human-induced and natural changes to weather and climate. When heavy rains led to devastating floods in the UK, United Kingdom, in January of 2014, then Prime Minister David Cameron said that he very much suspects that the floods were linked to climate change. A scientific analysis had concluded that climate change had increased the changes or the chances of rainfall that caused the flooding by an estimated 43%. The fact is that warmer air holds more moisture, which generally leads to heavier rainfall. The potential for damage from such extreme events is also increasing as higher river levels put more properties at risk from flooding. The 2014 UK floods cost in US dollars was $646 million, 451 million pounds. In insurance losses, one of the highest in history. In Australia, the summer of 2013 was the hottest on record. The sustained high temps were linked to bushfires in the country's southeast and severe flooding in the northeast. Conditions were so severe it was dubbed the Angry Summer. According to a scientific analysis, the record heat that summer was made at least 5 times more likely, a 500% increase, the odds of it occurring by human-caused warming. This conclusion, using the observed temperature record and climate models, was made with more than 90% confidence from a Lewis and Carroll study in 2013. The 2014 UK flooding, the 2013 Australian heat wave are just 2 recent extreme events that scientists have determined were considerably more likely to occur due to human-caused climate change. Such heat waves and heavy downpours are among the classes of extreme events that tend to be more frequent and or more severe in a warmer world, but not all extremes are increasing. For example, there has been an overall decrease in the number of very cold days and nights, as would be expected in a warming world. Still, the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, in its 2012 report on extremes wrote, "A changing climate leads to changes in the frequency, intensity, spatial extent, duration, and timing of extreme weather and climate events, and can result in unprecedented extreme weather and climate events," from a field study in 2012. Nonetheless, scientific findings that specific extreme weather and climate events can in fact be attributed to human-caused climate change have not been widely reflected in public understanding.
Reported by the Cortez Journal, Mesa Verde National Park this year hit a 17-year high for visitation. The park had about 593,000 visitors through November and could see 600,000 this year, said Christy Brown, a park spokeswoman. Promotion around the National Park Service's centennial anniversary, low gas prices, bicycle tours, and cool weather likely helped bring people to the park, Brown said. The park also benefited from Every Kid in a Park program, which offers free park passes to fourth graders and their families through the 2016-17 school year. During the summer, the park saw the bulk of its visitors, with 448,121 people visiting from May through September. The park achieved the increase even though Spruce Tree House, one of the park's most popular attractions, is closed indefinitely because the natural sandstone arch above the site is eroding. The Park Service has asked geotechnical engineering companies for bids to work on the site, but a contractor has not been selected, Brown said. It is a very specialized project, she said. An increase in visitations likely helped economies in Cortez, Mancos, and Durango this summer. In 2015, the 547,325 Mesa Verde visitors spent an estimated $55.4 million in nearby towns, and they supported 814 jobs, according to National Park Service data. Economic data for 2016 was not available. Through the 1990s, the park regularly had more than 600,000 visitors, according to park data. But the park saw much lower visitation after several wildfires in the early 2000s. Brown expects the uptick in visitation to continue next year after the national campaign around the National Park System's centennial.
Again, by the Cortez Journal, the historic McElmo Creek Flume has officially been consecrated as a monument to pioneer ingenuity and early water development. It is located just off U.S. Highway 160, just east of Cortez. The project is the culmination of a 3-year local effort to stabilize the wooden flume and create a highway pullout, parking lot, and paved trail leading to an educational overlook. It was made possible by $375,000 in state historical and federal highway grants and $100,000 in local fundraising. The flume is on the National Register of Historic Places. Experts explain that the flume's significance during a ceremony Monday included a blessing by the Ute Mountain Ute tribe. The number 6 McElmo flume was one of 33 on the Highline Canal that delivered water to southern Montezuma Valley farms and the Ute Mountain Ute tribe. Wooden flumes were the technology of the day to cross canyons and arroyos, Nunn said. The suspended troughs carried water over drainages, were supported by pillars that kept the water flowing down slope. Workers added and removed spillboards to the McElmo flume depending on flows. There was a gate in the middle to spill into McElmo Creek, which could cause flooding downstream. The flumes would become watertight as the wood swelled. Armed with heavy equipment, in the 1950s, the Montezuma Valley Irrigation Company began to replace the wooden flumes with underground culverts and pipes that required less maintenance. The McElmo flume remained in operation until 1991, when it was replaced with an inverted siphon that runs under the highway and delivers water to the Ute Mountain Ute farms. As part of the Dolores project, a flash flood in 2006 nearly wiped out the Flumes Foundation, but it has since been repaired.
And now for the Dolores County Sheriff's Roundup for the week of December 5th through the 11th. A Dolores County Sheriff's deputy responded with a San Miguel Sheriff's deputy for a verbal dispute occurring in Egner. While on routine patrol, a deputy found a person attempting to siphon gasoline from a commercial vehicle in the parking lot of a business. A man was arrested and received a summons for criminal attempt, theft, and third-degree criminal trespass. Dove Creek Volunteer Fire Department assisted Egner Volunteer Fire Department on a successful structural controlled burn in Egner, which also served as training for both departments. A deputy responded to multiple requests for vehicle unlocks at local town businesses. Deputies responded to RICO to investigate a report of a subject who pulled a gun on another person. Final charges are pending as the full detail of the incident remains under investigation. A resident requested assistance determining the welfare of a family member. A deputy requested assistance from another agency, and the family member was determined to be safe and well. That's it for today's roundup. Stay tuned for continuing updates. Thanks for tuning in. We are live at noon Monday through Wednesday, then rebroadcast at 2:30 and 8 p.m., and again aired Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the same order at noon, 2:30, and 8 p.m. each day, respectively.
Share this with a friend and watch the broadcast replayed on YouTube and now featured on the Facebook page. Thank you for liking us there and for your comments. We love to hear your comments and voices.
For Jerry Tope and everyone at CTV with the News at Noon program out of Dove Creek, USA, I'm Kelsey Kiesling. Thanks for watching.